Hey guys, I know here it is. It's Review Friday, and believe me, I'm excited to get right into this game. It was really fun to play. It is interesting to play. But before I get into that, I just wanted to say a genuine, heartfelt thank you to everyone who subscribed to the channel recently. You know, you guys just make it worthwhile. And I was looking at some of the analytics, and I know a lot of you guys who watch my videos, you're not subscribed yet, so please be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our videos that we do. Because all in all, a channel is nothing without you guys. So, if you like what we're doing, if you want to see more, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, like our videos, and do whatever. But that's enough of that jargon. Today we're reviewing We Were Here, an interesting little co-op game where you have to work together to survive. Is it worth your time and money? Well, let's find out. Oh, and one more thing. Welcome to the night shift. Let's get you guys clocked in, and let's get started. Well, I don't know about you guys, but my whole schedule was thrown all sorts out of whack. I had a completely different game set up to review this week, but this game snuck right under the radar. We Were Here. I didn't even know this game existed. I didn't even know it was coming out. Honestly, like I said, it snuck under the radar, but thankfully I saw an article and here it is. We Were Here. It's free for PlayStation Plus, I think. I think it's actually free for all PlayStation users, so long as you get it within the certain time frame. So be sure to go check that out. You have to go into your PlayStation store and search the title, because they're not advertising it free or anything like that. It's free, but it's just, you have to find it. I don't know why they're doing it that way, but they are. But I will tell you, We Were Here was a interesting experience. I actually really it was fun. It was interesting. I may end up doing a Let's Play of this series just because I had an interesting time with it. It's not the most amazing graphics-wise game ever. I don't think that's what they're going for, but We Were Here was a fun little thing. So, again, this is Review Friday here on the night shift, and of course, if you've been here before, you know how we're going to do things, but if you haven't been here before, this is how we're going to do things. I'm going to take the game, today's We Were Here, we're going to separate it into 4 categories: story, gameplay, audio and visuals, and any bugs or glitches that I ran into along the way. And those will compile up to give us our score at the end of the video, which will be through a 1 to 10 scale. If you haven't seen any of our reviews before, please go check out those reviews. We have some pretty cool ones. I know our first one was over Cyberpunk 2077, a very controversial game, but we're not here for that. We're here for We Were Here. And it's an interesting game because the story itself is really vague. I'll read you the synopsis here real quick just to kind of get everyone on the same page. We Were Here tells the story of 2 travelers separated from each other and locked away in different parts of this mysterious Castle Rock. Their only way of communicating is through walkie-talkies, with which the players have to guide each other through brain-breaking puzzles through the castle. And that's it. I mean, as far as that, I know nothing else of the story. But it doesn't drive me away from it. This is a real fun game. I got a lot of vibes of like Portal when I was playing this. But it was even more complicated because in Portal, you at least were both in the same general area. Whereas this, you literally the only way you can communicate to each other is through these walkie-talkies, and you can't even talk over each other. You actually have to hold on to L1, and if I'm holding L1 and talking to you, you cannot talk over me. Otherwise, we don't hear each other at all. So one person holds L1 and talks while the other one doesn't do anything, so they can hear. And when the first person finishes, the other person can then talk. So that adds a level of complexity over it on top of the already complicated series of puzzles. And I'm fairly decent at puzzles, but I'll tell you, this game is complicated because you're not just relying on yourself, you're relying on your teammate, and it throws you in situations where the power's out of your hands. I mean, this game is fun, and you have to think on your feet fast and prepare for the future. You might find something that has nothing for you to do in that given moment, but later down the road you'd be like, oh wait, I had something on that in this room all the way over here.
Are you 100%?
It is interesting.
This is the same piece
So
that got us killed last time.
story-wise, I mean, like I said, unfortunately there's not much to tell about that. So
Down triangle, top of the capital T.
we'll kind of have to glaze over that one, unfortunately, past the synopsis. It's just really just kind of a gameplay-driven game. So let's go to the gameplay then.
Okay.
So,
Here we go.
like I said, it's L1 to talk via walkie, and
Okay, well, it worked.
the controls past that are not very complicated. You can crouch,
Okay,
and you can jump, and you can pick up certain items and look at them or use them, but that's it. You can't sprint, you can't climb, there's nothing else you need to do. So it's simplistic, very simplistic, but rich and refreshing, because it's all you really need to do. I mean, you're solving puzzles, riddles, and
What am I trying to look for?
you really, when you have complicated problems that you need to figure out, you don't want to overcomplicate it with a bunch of different controls that you need to use to try and, solve this. A simple schematic for your controller is more than enough to fix the problem. So, gameplay was simple and effective. I'll admit, it's a little clunky. My least favorite thing in the world is the crouch mechanic. It is it's very disorienting. It's not like a gradual crouch. It's you're immediately down, so you see that visual kind of clunkiness. Kind of you see your vision at normal height, and then all of a sudden you're down here. It just really messes with you.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm probably.
But there's so many puzzles in this game. I mean, you've already seen, like, having to click pieces on a wall that unlock the door, which really, honestly, nothing in this game is by yourself. There's no way to do anything by yourself. That puzzle, I was pushing those buttons, yeah, but my partner was on the other end in a room where she was looking at this list, and it had different color eyes and different symbols that correlate with those eyes. So on the walls there were different color eyes, and they change each time you respawn or each time you replay. And if you read off those colors right, and you get those colors, and then your partner can read off the symbols that correlate with that, which will unlock that door. But you have the picture puzzle, which was complicated because I don't know why, but we ended up failing the first time, even though I'm fairly certain we had the right puzzle pieces. But I don't know. But there's that. There's
Grab
the water room puzzle. That is the most disorienting and scary thing in my life because there's nothing I could do. Not a thing. I couldn't do anything.
Blue and red.
You walk into that room, and as soon as you get in that room, you're powerless. That room is flooding, and you can't do anything about it. Your partner has to save your life
Okay,
in
doors
in
open.
time,
Now
and it's terrifying. It really is.
Pictures last time.
And of course, it goes by a checkpoint system.
Okay.
So
Feather.
what I mean by that is, after a certain point, you'll hit a checkpoint, and if you die
The same.
or lose,
Same
you'll respawn at that checkpoint. Obviously, we didn't get super far that time and when we died, so we started at the very beginning again. But at a certain point, you'll hit a checkpoint, and then you'll respawn from there from then on, and further, just like normal. But
Feather is first.
like I said, I mean, the puzzles just get more and more difficult, and it's heavily reliant on working together. You cannot come into this game and go, well,
Okay.
I'm gonna solo this. I don't care what my
So
partner's doing.
feather, then
No,
man with
that's not how it works. You have to work together. Period.
What?
We'll go ahead. Audio and visuals. Honestly, like I said at the beginning,
After the
it's
camera
not
roll,
like
it's the
focusing on the
triangle.
over the top, cutting edge, like graphics or even audio,
Doors open.
but
Now I am not entering this room
it's
yet.
still a fun little
enter
game
yours
for what
first.
it is. I mean, if you like that animated kind of feel, it's still nice to look at. I mean, it's by no means is it like
Okay, I lied. If
bottom
this
of the
door
barrel
behind me
graphics.
breaks open, I am running
But
into this other room.
of course, I mean, there are some issues here and there with them. I mean, sometimes I'm sure you've seen it at this point by now. There's sometimes when
Anything that
you'll
has to do with,
look,
like,
you can
pipes.
see where walls and stuff don't quite connect right, so you see the light shining through it, or
You only do right now. It only lets you.
other issues like that. The lighting's kind of weird and wonky, but I mean, at that point, that's just me being picky about it. And really, I thought it was fine. I was enjoying the game for what it was. Because we're not, like I said, I don't think that's what they're focusing on. Is like this over the top,
Cutting out.
great quality game. It's a puzzle game that's
No, but make
meant
sure
to
you hold
keep
your
you engaged
L1
with
button to hold
the
or
puzzles,
whatever
not the,
you're saying.
you know, not the graphics. Now, that being said, there were a couple things that I think they did visual wise that affect your vision wise. I feel like was a little over the top.
Are you talking?
Uh,
No.
when you drown and when you
Okay.
later on, there's a point where you
All
can
I tell
freeze.
you is in this room,
I don't know if you ever freeze to
there
death,
are
but
pipes,
you start getting cold, and so you start
crates,
freezing,
barrels,
and it starts
and a
cutting
table with a
more
clock
and
on it.
more of your vision. And I understand lots of games do that, and
also
I'm
there
not
is,
saying they
like,
shouldn't do that.
window seals
Um,
that have
but
bricks at the end of
my
them.
thing with
There are
that
3 of them.
is
I don't know
that
what
when you
type
do that
significance
so
that has.
aggressively that the player can only see in like almost like a
Two soldiers.
4 by 4 inch
Can you do anything with the
window,
soldiers?
No.
that's pretty severe. I mean, and I don't even know if it's 4 by 4 inches. It's small. It's a very small like vignette window, and
Alright, hang on a second.
it again. That's just me being picky again, but it does make it a lot harder, especially if you haven't gotten close to finishing your puzzle, because then you're like doing it practically blind. So that's an issue in my mind, anyways. But I mean, graphics wise, like I said, it's it is what it is. On to audio.
Oh, can you?
I won't lie to you and say that this audio is the best in the world and that it's top of the line and that it deserves an award for the wonderful things it's done.
I gotta go into the room.
No, no,
When I
no,
go
no,
into the room,
no.
take
I
your turn,
mean,
because when you probably turn, you probably have to
it's
turn in a
okay.
certain sequence.
You know,
That
it had
that
decent
sequence
music at the
will either speed
beginning
up or slow it down or stop it.
and sound effects and the
It's okay.
background kind of
Round
ambience
those
music and
spindles,
stuff.
right?
It's okay. They try to do some things
Okay, the water
also,
is rising now.
like there are instances where they want
the
you
water's rising
to
now, but I know what
rush
you need to do. You need
out
to
of a
do the
room,
two,
so
the
they'll try
two
and spook
spindles
you with
that make
loud
it glow
noises.
purple.
So you'll think that you're in danger, which is a smart move.
Let's
But
go!
on the off chance that whoever's playing your game figures out that it's a bluff, it it's a
I'm being
big
stupid.
problem
Apparently,
because then they realize
I
they can
just need
stay
to
there
open the door.
forever. So, like, and again, I'm not trying to pick apart and tear this game down because it by no means does it deserve that. It's fun for what it is, and
Go back to
I
your
heavily
footage
enjoyed it.
and clip it for me.
But I'm trying to give you guys a fair assessment of what I was looking at. And graphics wise and audio wise, it was, especially here in 2021, I think we're severely lacking. And that's okay. I think for what it is, it's still good. I think it's still fun and enjoyable.
Okay, well, you need to make sure you're holding down the L1 button before you talk, because I didn't
So
hear a word of what you said.
that brings us to bugs and glitches, and I didn't have anything that like
Okay.
made the game
This is
unenjoyable.
where that map comes into play.
Like, oh, I got stuck in a corner. Oh, the game killed
Go to
me.
that map, and
Uh,
where it told me to, where it
the
told me
only
to
thing
enter,
that I
where do
think
go?
I had a problem with was first time when we were doing that picture puzzle. You have to pick your puzzle pieces, and I was told it was a certain puzzle piece, and I kept putting it in there. And I don't know if the game just wasn't registering that I had placed it in there, or if the
Okay, so you see
game
where the white thing
thought it was a
like
different puzzle
footprint?
piece
Like
when it
from
was
there,
supposed
where
to
do
be
I
that
go?
one, but it would not take the puzzle piece for any reason, so we ended up dying.
Hello?
And we ended up having to restart, which was
Are you
frustrating,
looking at the
but
map?
Yes.
thankfully it was close to the beginning, so we were able to
Alright.
get right back in
You
and
just need to lead me to
retry it and got
You just
through
need to lead
pretty
me to the
easily.
exits.
The only other thing I would say that I've ran into
I guess go straight then.
is just
There
a
is no
lot of
straight. I'm at a
graphics like
crossroads.
issues.
Either right or left.
Like you saw there a couple minutes ago where I pushed the doors open and you just saw white because stuff hadn't rendered in yet and the game was trying to load stuff in. It was a mess. There was stuff like that all the time, and like I said, the lighting it makes it hard to see things at certain points and times. And I know I've said in the past that that could partially be my TV, which is true, but some of this doesn't feel like just my TV. I mean, like it's hard to see,
Okay, well,
and I think
doing
it's just the
something probably
lighting.
shouldn't do, but... Oh,
S-
okay.
But
I found a
that all being said, do I think this game is a bad game? I don't think so. I think it was a fun little game. Especially, you got to realize we're talking about a game that for now is absolutely free to PlayStation users. You don't have to pay a dime for this. You just go in, search it, add it to your library, and it's yours. So we were here. Is it good? Is it bad? Honestly, I think it's a good game. I really do. I enjoyed playing it. I kept getting distracted, and I mean, I was only needing to play. I only really needed to play enough to do this video, and I probably played for about an hour or two, just because I enjoyed the game that much. It was fun, and I would have played longer, but I wanted to get this video out to you guys, so I had to force myself to stop. Because it's fun. I am a person who likes puzzles, so going in here and having all these different puzzles and having to figure it out, but not having all the answers myself, so I have to go through somebody else and help them figure out those puzzles too, is a challenge, especially whenever your partner is nowhere near you, so it's not like you can go into the other room and help them figure it out. You know, you have to talk, and you have to be concise, and you have to be like, okay, what's the issue? Well, okay, have you looked here? Have you are you sure you didn't miss something? So it's a really in-depth game that really traps you in there. But I love it for that. So let's go ahead and get into the score, shall we? So again, we kind of had to glaze over the story mode because unfortunately, especially for however far I went in, and even the synopsis, it's fairly small. We don't have a whole lot to go off of. But it's a good basis. We get a lot of information, the information that we need to play this story and know what we're doing. So I feel like story, I can't necessarily be super harsh on it because they decided to go fairly mysterious with this story, but I also am not going to go ahead and give it high marks for it either. I'll hit the middle mark there and go with a 5, just to be fair, I think. So then you got gameplay, which simple, to the point. It's a little clunky, but not too bad. I'll say about a 6, 6.5 at the highest. And then you've got audios and visuals, which I feel was a slight miss on this game's part. I feel like there needs to be some improvements seen to make it a little bit more pleasing to the eye, and also so that we're not seeing all these glitches where you can't see what you're doing, and you're like, if you open a door or something like that and you get this bright white flash. So I'll go 5.5 for that one, because I do like the cartoony style as well. So not the best scores on the board that we've seen for sure, but overall, I think, well, I feel like We Were Here deserves a decent chance at a score above a 5, so I feel like I'm okay with giving We Were Here a 6. It's not the biggest game of the year. It's not like it's going to revolutionize your time or money or anything like that, but it was a fun play for the time I played it. And like I said, I may end up deciding to do some Let's Plays of it. But like I said before, guys, please, 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 please. This game is free for PlayStation users. So why not get it? I have every month I add those free PlayStation games to my library, whether or not I plan on playing them or not. Because I never know what I'm going to be in the mood for. So this game's free. It's a fun play. Just go ahead and add it to your library. And on a day that you might not think about playing games or feel like something different, this might stick out to you. So that's what I got for We Were Here. A nice 6-point score on our 10-point scale. I think that's pretty fair. I got nothing else for you guys. So if you haven't yet, subscribe to our channel, like our videos, comment, do whatever you will. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.